welcome everyone to the 32nd Annual Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. We have 4 builders, 5 athletes, a team. We also recognize another team from Saskatoon for their contributions to the sport that they provide here in the city.
For the past 12 years, we've been pleased to recognize a sport organization that has made Saskatoon the great city it is. It is indeed our pleasure again this year to recognize a group that has existed for almost 30 years and brought prestige to themselves and the city of Saskatoon, Curl Saskatoon. Starting in 1990, the 6 clubs in Saskatoon, the CN, Granite, Hub, Nutana, Prairieland Exhibition, and Sutherland, had representatives from each of these clubs working together to promote the sport. Curl Saskatoon has arranged playdowns and local bond spiels and been the host to the Brier 3 times, the Canadian Mixed Doubles Championship twice, the Tournament of Hearts, the Canadian Senior Championship, and the Canadian Masters Championship. Curl Saskatoon developed a junior league in Saskatoon to encourage youth curling with learn-to programs and league play. It arranges for buses for students in grades 6 to 8 to go to curling, and it also provides instructors. By participating in kids sport and care and share, Curl Saskatoon delivers the sport to inner city schools. The Ken Rowley Award, started by Curl Saskatoon, honors individual contributions. 27 rinks, 6 athletes, and 6 builders from curling are enshrined in the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the sport organization of 2017, represented here tonight by their president, Michael Lear, Curl Saskatoon.
And now let's meet this year's inductees. Welcome into the Builders category for his contributions to hockey, Keith Allen. He is represented here tonight by his son, Blake Allen. After arriving in the NHL as a player at the age of 30 and winning a Stanley Cup, Keith moved into the front office and led one of the most dominant franchises in modern hockey history. Keith was born in Saskatoon on August 21st, 1923. His family lived in Meadow Lake and then moved to Meota when he was 3 years old. He began his career as a high-level defenseman for the North Battleford Beavers of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League in the 1939-40 season. The following year, he began playing for City Park Collegiate in Saskatoon, where he was also an outstanding halfback for the league champion football team. He also played for the Saskatoon Quakers of the SJHL, a team that went 10-1-1 in the regular season, but was defeated in both the Western Final and Memorial Cup by the Winnipeg Rangers. His career as a player included stints in the Eastern Amateur Hockey League, American Hockey League, and Quebec Hockey League, in cities as diverse as Buffalo, Washington, D.C., Springfield, Massachusetts, and Sherbrooke, Quebec. He won an AHL championship with Buffalo in 1943. Keith reached the big leagues at the tender age of 30 years old. In 1954, he played 10 games for the Detroit Red Wings in the regular season and 5 more in the postseason, alongside fellow Saskatoonians Gordie Howe and Tony Leswick. The team went on to win the Stanley Cup that season. After playing 18 games the following season for the Wings, he played in the WHL with Edmonton, Regina, and Brandon. For the 1956-57 season, he joined Seattle as a player-coach, his first taste of life behind the bench. He served as coach for Seattle full-time through the 64-65 season, winning the WHL title in 1959. When the NHL expanded to Philadelphia in 1966, Allen was named the Flyers' first ever coach. He scouted for the team in preparation for the expansion draft, and it paid off, as the Flyers experienced uncommon success for a new team, going 31, 32, and 11 in 1967-68. The following season, he took on the job of assistant general manager as Philadelphia qualified for the playoffs, losing to the Blackhawks in the quarterfinal. He shifted full-time to the front office for the 69-70 season and began to build a dynasty. Drafting, among other stars, Bill Barber, Bobby Clark, Ron Hextall, Pelly Lindbergh, and Rick Tocchet, while trading for the likes of Bernie Parent, Darryl Sittler, and Reggie Leach. The Flyers made 8 appearances in the Cup Finals while Allen was with the team. They won back-to-back Cups in 74 and 75. Bobby Clark once said that Allen, more than anybody, was responsible for the team winning the Cup. The squad he built set a record for all professional sports teams, with a 35-game unbeaten streak in 78-79. Keith shifted to the role of executive vice president in 1984, a job he would hold through 2014. He also served as the general manager of Team Canada in the 1976 Canada Cup. Playing in 5 cities across the country against 5 of the best teams in the world, the Canadians would win the Cup, downing Czechoslovakia 2-0 in the best-of-3 final. Allen was inducted as a builder into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1992, after joining the Flyers Hall in '89. Keith passed away February 4th, 2014, at the age of 90. Please welcome Keith Allen into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. And now welcome into the Builders category for his contributions to artistic gymnastics, Chris Baraniak. For a quarter of a century, Chris has served as a coach with the oldest gymnastics club in Saskatchewan, Marion Gymnastics, helping create a legacy of athletes who have dominated at the local, provincial, Canadian, and international levels. Chris was born in 1967 in Selkirk, Manitoba. He grew up in Winnipeg and moved to Saskatoon to attend the University of Saskatchewan and compete with the U of S Husky gymnastics team. He excelled as an athlete with the U of S from 1985 through 1990, years in which the Huskies dominated the gymnastic landscape. The team was all-Canadian at the National University Championships for 3 straight years, 1988 through 90, and twice they won the silver medal. It also won Western Canadian gold 3 times in the period. Individually, Chris won 3 gold, 6 silver, and 5 bronze at the National University competition level, and 6 gold, 8 silver, and 4 bronze at Westerns. He also competed at the Western Canada Summer Games in 1987 and 1990. In the latter competition, he earned the most medals of any Saskatchewan athlete in any sport, taking home 3 gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronze. At the National Championships in 1986, he won silver in the junior men's vault, and 2 years later took home bronze as part of the senior men's team. He was the Western Canadian all-around champion in both 1989 and 90, and was provincial champion 3 times in the senior men's category, 1988 through 1990. While his career as an athlete wrapped up that year, his involvement in gymnastics was just beginning. He moved into the coaching ranks in 1991, and his career has been just as notable for its success as for its longevity. From 1991 through 2000, he was the assistant head coach at Marion Gymnastics, and from 91 through 2005 and 2008 until the present, has coached the club's national and high-performance athletes. In 2000, he became the club's technical director and head coach, positions he remained in through 2005. In 2008, he shifted to become Marion's executive director. Provincially, he has served as women's technical director, a technical committee member, and women's artistic HP coach for Gymnastics Saskatchewan. In addition to leading athletes in numerous club invitational events, he coached at 22 provincial championships, and at those meets, his skills contributed to 61 of his athletes winning all-around championships. He has coached at 4 Western Canada Summer Games, as well as 22 Western Canadian Championships with equal success. He led 12 athletes to all-around championships, and a total of 214 medals. The athletes he has coached have also achieved greatness at the national and international levels. 4 have earned U.S. gymnastics scholarships, 5 have been national team members, and 10 have been all-around Canadian champions and earned 41 Canadian medals. Athletes including Lisa Pattison, Michelle Hofstra, Megan Dash, and Adrian Begg have represented our province at 9 different international competitions. Chris also got the chance to explore the world when he ran away and joined the circus. He coached with Cirque du Soleil from 2005 through 2008. His contributions have been recognized by Gymnastics Saskatchewan with a Coach of the Year and Life Membership Award, and Gymnastics Canada with a Women's Program Service Award. Please welcome Chris Braniuk into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. And now welcome into the Builders category for his contributions to softball, Brian Kostorowski. As a player, coach, organizer, and promoter, Brian has been the face of softball in Saskatoon in recent decades, providing opportunities for local players, while also bringing the best players in the world to the city. Brian was born in Regina in 1960 and moved to Saskatoon with his family in grade 3. He played hockey and softball with Pleasant Hill teams as a youngster, winning 3 city championships in 4 years in softball before going to high school at Mount Royal, where he also played junior and senior football. Brian played softball in the SASA Men's League, but also began getting involved in the sport in different ways. He began by coaching his own children while serving as an executive member for the Saskatoon Phantoms softball zone for 8 years. His coaching experience advanced to the next level when he helped lead both Pee-wee and Bantam teams at the Western Canadian Fast Pitch Championships, while at the same time holding the office of Vice President and then President for the Saskatoon Minor Softball League. His dedication to coaching in both the Phantom Zone and then with the Saskatoon Selects program began to be recognized in the upper echelons of the sport. He received the Nels Rissling Award in both 2000 and 2003, and also in 2003 was presented with the Softball Saskatchewan Volunteer of the Year Award. Brian continued to balance coaching with administrative duties in the early 2000s, coaching at 7 Softball Canada National Championships. He was elected president of the Saskatoon Amateur Softball Association in 2004 and has held the position ever since. In 2005, he was named the Softball Saskatchewan Coach of the Year. During this period, Brian participated in the Softball Saskatchewan Sask First coaching program and attended 1 Canada Games, 2 Western Canada Summer Games, and 1 international event. More accolades came in 2008 when he received the Darren Lipinski Award for dedication to the sport. After a brief retirement from coaching in 2009, he returned for 2 years as the opportunity to instruct his stepson as part of the Midget Selects program arose. He officially left coaching behind in 2012 after 21 years of leading teams. But his involvement in the sport has continued. He has chaired 3 different Western Canadian Softball Championships, as well as the 2015 International Softball Federation Men's World Championship, and was the facilities manager for the 2009 ISF World Championship. In 2010, he received the Softball Canada Volunteer of the Year Award, and just last year, his efforts with that 2015 ISF Championship in Saskatoon led to the Canadian Sports Tourism Event Volunteer of the Year Award at a ceremony in Ottawa. And his efforts as chair of the Friends of the Bowl Foundation have helped raise more than $19 million over the past 4 years to improve sporting facilities at the complex. Please welcome Brian Kostorowski into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. And now welcome into the Builders category for his contributions to soccer, Hugh Morris. Few people have had a greater impact on the sport of soccer locally for both male and female players than Hugh Morris during his time as a coach and organizer. While he has made an incredible impact in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and Canada, Morris was born a long ways away in Swansea, Wales in 1953. And while his geographical destination may not have been known when he was young, the sport he would be involved in was no mystery. As an infant, he had a soccer ball in his cot. Before crossing the Atlantic, he played soccer in Wales, first as a schoolboy and then advancing in the sport in the Welsh League. In 1976, at the age of 23, he and his wife Angela made the big move, arriving in Saskatoon. He continued playing the sport he loved, first for 2 seasons with the Paragon men's team. But in 1979, he made the move to Saskatoon United, and what a relationship that would prove to be. Morris would help lead the team to 6 President's Cups. Every year but 2 between 1980 and 1990, the team would win the city championship as well. They were also dominant on the provincial scene, winning Saskatchewan titles 6 times during his playing career. He also played indoor soccer for the Spartans, Linvale Steelers, and Silver Foxes, and represented the province under coach Andy Sharp several times in the CSA All-Star League. He began coaching at the local level in 1986 with Hollandia, a club he helped form, and would remain in the role through 1994. His skills led to a Division II Youth Championship in '86, indoor city championships each year but one between '87 and '93, outdoor titles '87 through '90, and again in '93, to go along with a President's Cup. Morris helped make the game accessible to all. He was among the founders of the Eagles Club, which was at the time the only female club in the city. He coached at the high school level, but also for adults who were new to the game, as well as instructing children in Saskatoon's core neighborhoods at various times over the years. Hugh has served as a Saskatchewan Soccer Association staff instructor, helping teams to an indoor provincial title in 1987 and 4 straight outdoor championships from '88 through '91. His '93 team was the Saskatchewan Shield Provincial Champions, and he has helmed several male and female all-star and select provincial teams, and he has led squads at both the Western and Canada Games. In addition to being one of the most highly certified coaches in the province, he has received several accreditations from the Canadian Soccer Association. He has also been instrumental in developing the sport in the Northwest Territories, serving as technical director and forging a player pathway for northern athletes that show potential. He remains the technical director for Saskatoon United and is involved with the newly developed National Rec Centre, which prepares potential athletes for the female Canadian national teams. He was inducted as a life member of the Saskatchewan Soccer Association, which also named him Coach of the Year in 1994. He received the SSA's David Newsham Outstanding Volunteer Award in 2012. Please welcome Hugh Morris into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. And now welcome into the athletes category for his contributions to rowing, Cam Berg. Cam made history, becoming the first rower from Saskatchewan to ever win an Olympic medal as part of a 19-year career that saw him compete on bodies of water around the world. He was born in Saskatoon in 1972 and attended Marion Graham Collegiate. As a youngster, he was a 3-time city and 2-time provincial champion in hockey, while also competing in baseball and cross country. His career as a rower began in 1987 under coach Bob Haver at the Saskatoon Rowing Club, and he found nearly immediate success. In 1988, he competed at the Canadian Championships and took second in the men's Junior 8. 2 years later, when the Canada Summer Games were staged here in his hometown, he took silver in the men's 8 and bronze in the men's 4. The medal count continued to grow in 1990. At the Winnipeg Western Canada Summer Games, he recorded a silver as part of the men's 4 coxless team and gold with the men's 4 with cox. It was the first gold medal won by Saskatchewan in the history of the event, which began in 1975. His team also took a pair of seconds at the 1990 Canadian Championships. The following year at the National Championship event, he and fellow Saskatoonian Rob Greenwood claimed another second place, this time in men's pair. Through the 90s, he competed in numerous Canada Cup events with several top finishes. Highlights included a second in 94 in men's quad, a first in the 95 men's 8 dash, 3 second-place finishes in 96, and a first in single scull in 97. That year also saw him make a big move. He joined the Rowing Canada National Program, working out of the training center in Victoria. He also began making an impact on the international rowing scene after a first-place finish in intermediate single sculls at the 94 Royal Henley Canadian Regatta. He and Stefan Riches of Regina were the only Canadians in the final. At the same event 4 years later, he took first in the senior coxless 4. Later in 98, he competed in his first World Championships in Cologne, Germany, coming in 12th in men's quad. Appearances at the Pan Am and Commonwealth Games, as well as international competitions in the United States and Europe, set the stage for his greatest triumphs. He was part of a men's coxless 4 team with Tom Hirschmiller, Barney Williams, and Saskatoon's Jake Wetzel that took first at the 03 World Cup in Lucerne, Switzerland, and another first at that year's World Championships in Milan. The team continued their dominance the following year with more medals on the international stage, culminating with a trip to the 2004 Olympics in Athens. Their men's coxless 4 team took silver at the Games, Canada's only rowing medal at the Olympics that year, and the first ever medals for Saskatchewan athletes in the sport at the Games. The win led to several honors. He and Wetzel were named Saskatoon Athletes of the Year, and Berg took the Sask Sport Award for Male Athlete of the Year. His appearance at the 2005 World Championships in Gifu, Japan, was the culmination of a 19-year career that saw him win more than 75 medals. Please welcome Cam Berg into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. And now, welcome into the athletes category for her contributions to softball and ringette, the birthday girl, Erin Cumpstone. Not content with being one of the best softball players the city has ever produced, competing in 2 different Olympic Games, Erin was also part of Team Canada at the World Ringette Championship. She was born in 1980 in Saskatoon and started playing softball at the age of 6 for teams that included the Hustlers, Midget Selects, Lawrence Lasers Junior Team, and Saskatoon DBJ Leasing Senior Team. She competed in the 1994 and 97 Western Canadian Championships in Surrey and St. Albert, Alberta, respectively, as well as the 96 Saskatchewan Summer Games in Moose Jaw. In 98, she took part in her first Canadian Championship with the Midget Selects in Red Deer. As she hit university age, her skills were highly sought after. She received a scholarship to Simon Fraser University, competing in the NAIA for colleges in Canada and the United States. Her post-secondary career featured 4 appearances in the championship tournament, highlighted by winning the title in 2003. She was an All-Star at Nationals in 2001 and was named an NAIA All-American in 2003. Erin began her stint as the catcher on the Canadian national team in 2001. The squad was a dominant force in softball, making numerous appearances at international events during her career, which stretched through 2012. This included playing at the Pan Am Games, U.S. World Cup events, and the International Softball Federation World Championships. Among the highlights were first-place finishes at the 2001 Three Nations Challenge in Saskatoon, the 2003 Olympic qualifier in Puerto Rico, and the 2008 International Challenge in Australia. Twice Erin was a part of Team Canada squads that represented our nation at the Olympics. At the 2004 Games in Athens, Greece, the team went 3-3 in round-robin play and finished 5th overall. 4 years later in Beijing, Canada again went 3-3 in round-robin play and came in 4th after losing 5-3 in the semifinal against Australia. She also played twice in the Canadian Senior Championships, coming in 3rd with the DBJ leasing team in the 2001 event in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, before winning the title as part of the Kitchener, Ontario Crush team in 2009. Erin also excelled as a center in ringette. She played with both the selects and classiques locally, advancing to the Canadian Championships in '96 and '98 in Ottawa and Edmonton, respectively. At the '99 Canada Winter Games, she led her team to a 3rd-place finish in Corner Brook, Newfoundland, finishing in the top 10 in scoring. In 2010, she was the only Saskatchewan player on the Canadian team that finished 2nd at the World Ringette Championships in Finland. From 2007 through 2012, she played for the Saskatoon Wild in the National Ringette League, twice finishing 2nd in points in the West Division. She has also coached extensively in both ringette and softball, and has served on the board of directors for Saskatoon Ringette, beginning in 2015. Please welcome Erin Cumpstone into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. And now welcome into the athletes category for his contributions to football, Ted Dushinsky. Representing him on stage tonight is his sister, June Hughes. One of the greatest defensive players to ever emerge from our city, Dushinsky excelled at all levels while spending most of his career playing for his home team. Ted was born in Saskatoon in 1943. He played hockey for the Quakers junior team and attended Nutana Collegiate. There, he excelled in track and field, finishing 1st at the City High School Championships in 1960 and 61 in the pole vault, setting a city record of 10 feet 4 1/4 inches in 61. But it was on the gridiron where he truly excelled. He was a key player on the Blues team that finished in 2nd place in the city in 1959 and 3rd in 1960. The team lost to Bedford Road 15-14 in the final. Ted led the team in rushing in the game with 41 yards. But he spent most of the rest of his career on the defensive side of the ball, playing linebacker for the Saskatoon Hilltops from 1961 through 1964. Although Coach Al Lettingham said of Ted, quote, "He was one of the best players in my early coaching career. He could play anywhere." Ted was a 3-time All-Star linebacker in the Manitoba-Saskatchewan Junior Football League. After his career with the Toppers came to an end, Ted began playing at the professional level with the Saskatchewan Roughriders as a split end and defensive back. In his first season with the Riders, the team went 8-7-1 and finished 3rd in the West Division. They lost 15-9 in the West semifinal to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But the following year was one of the greatest in franchise history. After finishing 1st in the West with a 9-6-1 record, the Riders beat the Eskimos in the West semifinal, helped by Ted's performance as he picked off the first pass of the game. The team advanced to the best-of-3 West final against Winnipeg, winning 14-7 and 21-19 to sweep the set. Saskatchewan advanced to the Grey Cup, where they beat the Ottawa Roughriders 29-14 at Empire Stadium in Vancouver, their first league championship in 53 years of play. The team made a return to the title game the following year after going 12-4 on the season, but lost 24-1 in the Grey Cup. Their regular season success continued as the decade came to a close, as they recorded 12, 13, and 14 wins. In that incredible 1970 season, Ted led the team with 5 interceptions. He remained with the Rough Riders through the 1975 season, playing on teams that appeared in the Grey Cup in 69 and 72. With the team, he had 33 interceptions, the 4th highest total in team history. He also recovered 10 fumbles and played in 25 playoff games, where he recorded 5 more picks. He moved on to the BC Lions for the 1976 and 77 seasons, where he played 31 regular season and 2 playoff games before retiring. Dushinsky was a CFL West Division All-Star in 1970 and 75. He was inducted into the Riders Plaza of Honor in 1993, and in 2005 was named to the franchise's All-Century team. Ted passed away on October 24th, 2005. Please welcome Ted Dushinsky into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. Now welcome into the athletes category for her contributions to track and field, Joanne Jones-Vaz. In addition to setting local records that still stand, Joanne has competed on the world stage, including an incredible and courageous performance at the Pan Am Games. Joanne was born in Vancouver in 1955, but came to Saskatoon at the age of 18 months. She discovered a love for athletics at an early age, joining Marion Gymnastics in 1963 and competing in provincial and Western Canadian championships. But her greatest love was track and field. She began participating in 1967 and competed in the first of several Knights of Columbus Saskatchewan indoor games with immediate success, coming in first in high jump and shot put. More first-place finishes came the following year in high jump at the U of S Invitational Meet, and in shot put, long jump, and high jump at the City Indoor Championships. As a student at Churchill School that year, she set a public school championships record with a mark of 4.95 meters in long jump and was named Athlete of the Year at the school. Joanne's record-setting ways continued as she transitioned to high school at Aidan-Bowman. At the city championships, her mark of 1.54 meters in high jump stood as the height to beat for 16 years. Her shot put record was even more enduring, as no one eclipsed 10.48 meters for 46 years. And her mark of 5.28 meters in long jump is one that still stands today. At provincials that year, she competed against grade 11 and 12 students as a freshman, but wasn't fazed. She came in first in high jump, long jump, and shot put against the advanced competition. As her high school career progressed, she remained a dominant force, winning a number of city and provincial events. And in 1971, she set a Saskatchewan record in shot put. Joanne attended the University of Saskatchewan and joined the track team under legendary coach Lyle Sanderson. She recovered from a major injury sustained in '72 to be a part of a track team that was among the best in the country. In '74-75, her 4x100 relay squad set a Canada West Conference record. That year, she took first place in pentathlon at the Canadian Junior Olympics in Edmonton. She didn't compete at the U of S in '75-76, instead taking the year off to train in California. Her hard work led to a spot at the Pan Am Games in Mexico City. Despite collapsing at the finish of the 200-meter event due to a lack of oxygen aggravated by severe asthma, she came in 8th in the event. She would go on to compete in international pentathlons in Austria and Toronto. Joanne returned to the U of S the next year and set a conference championship record that stood for 14 years in shot put. 1977 also saw her win her first Canadian senior title by taking first in the pentathlon at the Canadian Indoor Championships in Montreal. The next 2 years, she was named the Outstanding Female Athlete of the Canada West University Championships. In 1978 and '79, she was awarded the Ethel Catherwood Trophy as the top female athlete in an individual sport at the U of S. In 1980, she came in first in pentathlon at the Canadian Track and Field Championships in Toronto. The following season, her last as a competitor, she came in second in pentathlon at the Canadian Indoor Championships in Edmonton, behind her sister Diane. Since retiring from competition, she has coached and managed track teams extensively. She coached the Alberta Pandas to a team title at the Canadian Championships in 84-85. And from 1988 through 91, she served as the athletics director at UBC. Please welcome Joanne Jones-Vaz into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. Now welcome into the athletes category for her contributions to golf, Barb Drake-Wilson. No matter what her age, Barb was among the best in the province, winning titles as a teenager and in her 50s. She was born in Edmonton in 1951, but it was here in Saskatchewan where she made her impact on the sports world. Her first title came in 1969, when she won Saskatchewan Junior Women's Golf Championship. She competed in the team event at the Canadian Junior Championships, first with Manitoba in 1968, coming in first. The following year, her Saskatchewan team came in third. The next year, she also took the top prize at the Provincial Amateur Women's Championship at Waskesiu. 2 years later in Moose Jaw, she came in second in the same event. Barb was also an outstanding basketball player. She won a bronze medal at the 1971 Canada Winter Games and played 5 seasons for the U of S Huskiettes. In her final season, she was 8th in the league in scoring and was named a second-team All-Star in the league. She continued to represent the province in golf throughout the 70s, playing in several Canadian Women's Amateur Golf Championships, with teammates that included Beverly Briggs, Pat Lawson, Barb Turnbull, Jerry Street, and Joanne Goulet. Her teams finished 4th in both 72 and 76. Barb continued to thrive as a solo competitor in the decade. In 1975, she came in first at the Saskatchewan Amateur Women's Golf Championship, held at Saskatoon's Riverside Country Club. In the 80s, the trend continued. Barb recorded a trio of second-place finishes at the provincial amateur event, first at Riverside in 1981, and then 5 years later at Greenbrier, and then in 1989 at the North Battleford Golf Club. As a member of Team Saskatchewan, she returned to the Canadian Women's Amateur Golf Tournament several more times, competing in 81 in Winnipeg, 85 in Halifax, 86 at home in Saskatoon at Riverside, in 89 in St. John's, Newfoundland, 90 in London, 92 in Moncton, 93 in Edmonton, 94 in Prince Edward Island, and 95 in Quebec. Barb came in first at the Saskatoon Women's Golf Championship in both 93 and 94. That 93 tournament included a second-round score of 69. A move to BC in 1997 didn't slow her down, as she won a variety of tournaments there. But she came back home to Saskatchewan in 2001, and if anything, became even more successful. That year saw Barb win titles at both the Saskatchewan Amateur Women's Championship and the Provincial Senior Championship, both in Melfort, as well as the Manitoba Senior Championship. Additionally, she and Sean Wilson won the Mixed Team Championship at Jackfish Lake. 2001 also saw her come in third at the Canadian Senior Championships. Wilson won 3 more Provincial Senior Women's Golf Championships in 2003, 4, and 5. And she continued competing at the national event through 2007. In her final event at Elkridge Resort, she came in 39th, not long after completing chemotherapy for lung cancer. Her incredible career, which included 5 provincial women's and 5 senior women's championships, led to her being inducted into the Golf Saskatchewan Hall of Fame in 2015. Please welcome Barb Drake-Wilson into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. And now welcome into the team category, the 2007 Saskatoon Hilltops, Joining me on stage to accept for the Hilltops, President Ron Woodley and manager Murray Little. "2007 was another incredible season for the Toppers. While they came in second in the league, when the biggest game of the season was played, they once again came out on top. The season did get off to a bit of a weird start for the Hilltops. They opened up with a pair of games on the road, both of which resulted in ties, 24-24 against Winnipeg and then 26-26 against the Edmonton Wildcats. But they found their footing the rest of the way, going 5-1 in their final 6 contests, their lone defeat coming against the Wildcats in Game 5, 20-17. Highlights of the regular campaign included a measure of revenge against Winnipeg as they won 42-7 in Saskatoon, and a 35-1 win against their provincial rivals, Regina. Individual leaders in the 5-1-2 season were Thomas Irving, who led the way defensively with 53 tackles, 43 assists, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns, and Greg Wojtowicz, who registered 9 picks. On offense, Mark Fetter and Jordan Penner split duties at quarterback. Fetter finished first in the nation in passing percentage for the second year in a row and led the CJFL in efficiency rating. Clayton Garnett led the team in receiving yards with 540, while Adrian Charles rushed for 1,059 yards, good for first in the conference. The team continued to impress offensively as the playoffs rolled around. They beat Regina 37-28 in the PFC semifinal, and then got their first win in 3 tries against Edmonton in the final, with a convincing 34-10 victory. The defense helped pile up the points as Thomas Irving and Mitch Friesen returned interceptions for touchdowns, and the Toppers advanced to the Canadian Bowl. The defense came up big once again in Winnipeg, limiting the St. Leonard Cougars out of Montreal to just 3 points in the title game. Wojtowicz had an interception and a fumble recovery, while Wyatt Jacoby had 2 of the team's 6 sacks. Charles rushed for 3 touchdowns, and the Hilltops won 26-3. It was Saskatoon's 13th Canadian title in team history, and their 4th under head coach Tom Sargent. Please welcome the 2007 Saskatoon Hilltops into the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. And now let's meet the other members of the Saskatoon Hilltops who were able to join us this evening. Todd Aramenko, Jareth Archibald, Andrew Busby, Bradley Chason, Anthony Dale, John DeWitt, Shane Dewick, Mark Fetter, Mitch Friesen, Clayton Garnett, Cody Halseth, Chris Hengen-Braun, Thomas Irving, Braxton Lawrence, Jay Smugley, Greg Newman, John Pfeiffer, Mike Walter, and assistant coach Jack Nepchuk. And could we please have one more hand for all of tonight's inductees?
Your Worship, special guests, family and friends, it is a great honor for me to have the opportunity to speak on behalf of my fellow 2017 inductees. It is particularly gratifying to see so many family and friends, past inductees, and many familiar faces who have gathered here to celebrate this honor with us. Elite sport offers us the opportunity to be part of a unique club, a club that changes us and our life experiences. We become involved in a particular sport because we want to try it or because our parents want us to become involved. Whatever the reason, somewhere along the way, the sport becomes our passion and a major part of who we are. Whether we are an athlete, a coach, or a builder of the sport, we are willing to sacrifice, to work hard, to give it our all in order to be excellent. But we didn't do this alone. We needed our family, our coaches, our teammates, our opponents, our friends, our colleagues, and our mentors. We needed the club structure and administration, the facilities, the sponsors, the volunteers, the media, and this amazing city in order to achieve our goals and accomplishments. So where to begin? How do we thank all these individuals and organizations who have supported us along our journey to where we are tonight? To the city of Saskatoon. Tonight's inductees come from a varied range of sports: artistic gymnastics, athletics, curling, football, ringette, golf, rowing, softball, and soccer. 5 athletes, 4 builders, 1 team, and 1 organization. The diversity of this group honored here tonight is a testament to the support that the City of Saskatoon gives to amateur sport through facilities, hosting of local, national, and international events, and its amazing spirit of volunteerism. You provided the environment for us to excel and represent this amazing city. Saskatoon, you really do shine. Thank you. To the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame. We are humbled to have been considered for nomination to the Hall of Fame and feel privileged to have the honor of induction into this prestigious organization. Whether we grew up in Saskatoon or moved here with our families, or because of our sport, we now have a permanent home on the walls of the Saskatoon Fieldhouse. To those involved in the induction process, the directors and volunteers, the sponsors, thank you for this wonderful evening. Thank you for keeping the true spirit and legacy of sport alive in this city. To the builders, to all those volunteers and paid personnel who have committed their time to provide opportunities for athletes and coaches to excel. Thank you for your behind-the-scenes work and dedication, the countless hours of providing your knowledge, your creativity, your enthusiasm, and commitment to develop and build our sports so that we, the athletes, can perform on our field of choice. To the media, thank you for your passion for sport, for following our careers, and for sharing it with this city. From Lloyd Saunders, Ned Powers, and Bob Strum of the 70s and 80s to Kevin Waugh, our esteemed MC tonight. I mention only those I know personally, those who greatly impacted my career and made me feel like a hero in my own community. They have set a high standard for those of the present CTV, Global, CBC, and Star Phoenix reporters who continue to support and report on sport in this city and province. Thank you for your interest in our careers, for reporting the triumphs and the disappointments, for your ability to share with this community the person behind the athletic prowess. To our coaches and mentors, such important people in our lives, the long hours of practice, your presence at games or meets, the time spent away from your own families, we are grateful for that. Thank you for your time, your technical expertise, your support on and off the field, the track, the water, the pitch, the course. We have leaned on you for so much, not only for your coaching abilities, but for your words of encouragement through those difficult days of practice or competition, or when we were recovering from an injury. We often become like family as we are each away from our own so much during our careers. You have a special place in our hearts, and you have impacted our athletic careers and our personal lives in ways that are indescribable. We had worked hard to make you proud, so thank you. And a special word to those who mentor us off the field of practice and competition. You provided a place for us to be safe, to let down our guard, to be away from the stresses of high-level competition. Your wisdom, your unconditional love and support have been invaluable. Thank you. To our colleagues and our teammates, we came together as strangers, but very quickly became friends. We were united in a common goal to excel at our sport, to be the best we could be, to succeed. You stood beside us and provided the support we needed to be better at our craft. There was sometimes lots of frustrations, lots of give and take as we came together with differing ideas, talents, and life experiences. But in the end, we worked as a cohesive unit to achieve what so many outside of sport do not get to experience: the thrill of victory, the satisfaction of a job well done as a team. Even in the disappointment of defeat, or when our strategy of competition failed, we had the opportunity to be part of a team, and that changed us. We are better people outside of sport, of the sport arena, in our lives because of our team experience. Thank you for walking beside us on our journey. And to our opponents, thank you for challenging us, for providing the competition we needed to be better, for the friendly and not so friendly rivalries that force us to dig deeper, mentally and physically. Sometimes we embraced you, other times we were frustrated with you as we struggled to defeat you. Without you, we could not have experienced winning and losing, experiences that we needed to learn as we matured in our careers. To our family and friends, the unwavering, unconditional love and support of this group of people, parents, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and friends, is what allowed us to continue in our sports and aided in our success. Whether there was a winning or losing result, at the end of the day, they were there for us. I didn't appreciate the importance of my family, siblings included, in the early days of my career, but that changed as I matured and realized their support was seemingly endless. The numerous trips to practice or competition, and they often gave up some of their activities so they could be at ours. They never questioned whether they would be on the sidelines or in the stands. They came to support us in all kinds of weather. They just continued to show up, to cheer and clap, to yell and scream, to let us know they were proud of us. Whether they were behind the scenes, sitting in the first row, or watching on television halfway around the world, we felt their presence. As parents of young athletes who pursued or are pursuing athletic careers, I know what I am willing to sacrifice to support them. I am giving to them what my parents so unselfishly gave me. So thank you to each of you for providing the environment for us to pursue our passion, our dreams, and our goals. Some of our family are not here with us to celebrate tonight, but we know they are with us in spirit. We miss you. And once again, thank you so much for this great honor. And to my coach, Lyle, hey gang, Sanderson, who nominated me, thanks for bringing me back. It's so great to be home. Thank you.
Sports are an essential part of our city, of our city's culture and its identity. In celebrating the past achievements of local athletes, builders, and teams, as we have just done here tonight, we want to inspire future success. For over 30 years, we have been pleased to have Saskatoon sports legends and their incredible accomplishments displayed at the Saskatoon Fieldhouse. However, remodeling and our growth in numbers has left us with only enough space to display the past 10 years of inductees. Tonight, I'm proud to announce that this will change. The Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame will have a new, dedicated home within an exciting new facility anchored to one of our city's greatest landmarks, the Gordie Howe Sports Complex. Over the past 75 years, athletes of all ages and abilities have pushed themselves to discover what they're capable of playing football, softball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, speed skating, and hockey at the Gordie Howe Sports Complex. The board of the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame is excited to partner with the Friends of the Bowl Foundation in fulfilling the master plan for Saskatoon's largest sports park.
He was just another poor farm kid from a rural prairie community outside Saskatoon who played hockey on frozen ponds in brutal cold. Just a kid from Saskatchewan who, almost by accident, became the legend, the game changer, the tough guy. the record breaker, the charming man we call Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe. That's who this place is named for. This place that anchors one of our city's oldest character neighborhoods, the heart of Saskatoon Sports District that draws people here from other neighborhoods, from other cities, provinces, and countries to play. This place where athletes of all ages and abilities are welcome to push themselves and discover what they're capable of. This place where kids learn to find their own strength, learn the value of discipline and of team, values that will serve them throughout their whole lives. And now it's time to start making even more happen here, because Saskatoon needs us to push harder, to reach farther, and truly make this place Saskatoon's home of sport, and more than sport. A place of fun and friendship, of family, a place for community to gather and celebrate, where exhilaration and pride live, where memories are made and kept. And when we see a need, we have proven what we can make happen here, how we can elevate this place. We're ready to truly live up to the legend who is our namesake.
I was very pleased when Mayor Clark brought this topic up this evening, and we've been all pretty excited on the board to bring this announcement to the city. The master plan for the Gordie Howe Sports Complex includes significant upgrades and many new developments, including a new outdoor track and field. You athletics people happy with that? Nordic ski facilities, a new multi-sport operations center for winter and summer sports, a new multi-purpose turf field, 2 artificial practice fields for softball and baseball, pitching and batting cages, and an indoor high-performance training center. The Gordie Howe Sports Complex will truly become Saskatoon's home of sport. With 4,000 square feet of dedicated space in the future high-performance training center, the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame will draw people from our community and across the country to learn about and admire local athletes, builders, and teams that have made and continue to make Saskatoon proud. In our new home, the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame will have the space and opportunity to truly honor local sports heroes, providing inspiration to current and certainly future generations of athletes. Preliminary conceptual drawings have been completed for us to unveil for you here tonight. And we'll see them on the screen. And you're going to get pretty excited when you see some of these. And there's 2 easels at the back that you'll be able to view when you go out of the building. Within our new home, our local sports heroes will receive the place of honor they deserve. Not only will we have our inductees' names on the wall, along with audio and visual elements about their contributions to sport, the new space will provide opportunity for continuously changing and interactive displays, promoting different athlete sports and sporting events. The Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame aims to become a prized destination, drawing people to Saskatoon from across the province and our country and beyond. We look forward to welcoming you to our new home at the Gordie Howe Sports Complex. Thank you.
So on behalf of everyone from the Saskatoon Sports Hall of Fame, have a good night. And thanks again for attending our induction ceremony.